Hello, and welcome to another Angry unit of the week. And today we're taking a look at the Buffaloes 85. The Buffaloes in-game are based off the 32nd South African Infantry Battalion, which was formed in 1975 after Angolan refugees from the Angolan War of Independence fled to South Africa. It would be a light infantry battalion which would mainly be formed of white and black military personnel. It was a light infantry battalion which mainly partook in counter-insurgency operations. By 1993, it would be disbanded, and a lot of its members would end up joining private military companies. In-game, the Buffalo 85 are a 35-point shock infantry squad available to the South African Defence Force, and they have 3 weapons. So the weapon loadout is AKM assault rifles, which are pretty standard assault rifles. What's not so standard is the anti-tank weaponry. It's not a rocket launcher, but an ATGM, the Milan Efron, with 9 missiles. It's not the most powerful or accurate ATGM, but it's an ATGM still, which is pretty interesting. We'll get onto that later. And for your machine gun, you have an RPD, which notably has the CQC trait. Up down to the miscellaneous stats, it's a 15-man squad with very small size, medium optics, and moves at 30 km an hour. It has shock training, good stealth, and is available to motorized, airborne, and support decks. So in battle, Buffaloes 85 are probably one of the most interesting infantry options available to the South Africans. And I'm gonna guess some of you guys were probably worried seeing them for the first time, like, oh god, this is gonna be Maglands 2.0 on a 15-man squad compared to, well, what used to be a 10-man squad, but is now a 5-man Magland squad, thank god. Well, I think we can all agree, yeah, Buffalo 85s are definitely not as bullshit compared to Maglands. They're a pretty decent unit, but they're not the be-all, end-all as you would think they would be. The main difference, of course, between Maglands is, well, you're not a recon unit, you don't have that stealth trait bonus when shooting, so you do give off your position a little bit easier with the Buffalo 85s. And also as well, the Milan Efron isn't really that great of an ATGM, it's rather mediocre. You're not going to be killing really any heavy tanks with this at all. It's great for knocking out transport vehicles and other light vehicles which do get closer, great zone deterrence in that regard, and you have a lot of missiles too, meaning that you don't have to keep the Buffalo 85s as well supplied compared to more dedicated ATGM infantry squads. And also because you're a large squad, you're not going to get blown up by a single 120mm mortar round. And of course, you're also a pretty good infantry squad, with the CQC RPD and AKMs with shock training does give you a pretty good chance against the majority of other infantry. Also, you'll be in a 15-man infantry squad, definitely makes you much more survivable, which is honestly quite nice. The Buffalo 85s are very good for getting into a town and forest, and then making sure the enemy can't get into it with their own infantry by just sniping everything with their ATGMs. You do have pretty decent availability of the Buffalo 85s in the South African motorized tank, you do get 12 of them, but you only get a single card. But that's not too bad. Really, you only need one Buffalo 85 card, as you don't want to be bringing them out all the time. They're not a spam unit, because they are pretty expensive. Your transport options are pretty standard, it's just Buffles and Caspers and helicopters if you're feeling a bit fancy. Yeah, I think it's a bit more fitting to bring the Buffaloes and Buffles, just for the name. I do also want to note the regular version of the Buffaloes, which aren't a bad squad per se, a pretty standard 25-point 15-man squad. But for other shock infantry, the Parabats are my more main choice, as you do have the much better rocket launcher on those chaps. But overall, the Buffaloes 85 are a pretty damn awesome infantry unit. They definitely have a very interesting role of being a good CQC infantry squad, while also being able to snipe stuff with ATGMs. They're not overpowered in any regard, I'd argue, as they are pretty expensive for that rather mediocre ATGM, but in certain situations, especially against motorized and mechanized decks where you're not up against a lot of heavy armor, they can really shine quite well. And well, I'm gonna leave it off at that. This has been another Rang Rouge unit of the week. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and as usual, please just take it easy.